Good afternoon, sir. My name is Chris Ikeliani. I'm an indigen of Anambra State. And he's not listening yet, so.
Okay, go on.
Okay. Yeah, my question to you is around what you talked about. I think many people here want to go back and help the country in some form or shape. But my question is a simple one, and I don't know if the answer is simple as well, but what do you think from your experience is the best, vertical or sector to go back to work in order to build the country? Is it the private or is it the public sector? And I know both of them have various impediments or whatever, but what do you think, from your experience right now would have the most impact?
Well, I would say a combination of both. Why do I say a combination of both? Both are lacking. So you won't say this is good, and let's go into this. The public space needs you to help to build the institution that will make it work. If you look at this, today we have a situation where we have insecurity. You have insecurity where non-state actors have taken over the state. Reason is that the state is not doing what it's supposed to do. There's no place where criminals can be better than the state. Right now we have a situation where we have oil theft. As you know, no individual can steal oil. It's people in government stealing oil. Because none of you here can steal oil. You can't put oil in your pocket. It requires a ship to come into your water, and your Navy have to approve it. So all this, it is people like you who have now had the exposure that can come and say, we can't continue on this path. We cannot continue on this. The right things that has been done, like he asked the question, if we said, what is measure of development? Everybody knows that the first fundamental measure of development is health. So what are we doing in the primary health care space, which is the basic? The next is education. What are we doing in education? Because you need to invest in these critical areas. And until we have people like you asking that question in the public space, which is the physical side, and then, of course, you can talk about the business side. But what I ever tell people about Africa is that Africa, using Nigeria as well, remains a continent of opportunity. Huge opportunity. Because if we talk about natural resources, no other continent in the world today have African natural resources. If you talk about vast or cultivated land, there's no other continent would have about 65% of its land uncultivated. I talked about a young friend of mine from Yale. Is he here?
He's over there.
Thank you. I met this young man in 2018. I was in Yale and I met him. He's never been to Nigeria before. Never had anything to do. His parents are Nigerian. He's never been to Nigeria before. He doesn't know anything about Nigeria. And he said to me, I'm going back to Nigeria to do business. And I said, how can you go back to Nigeria? You don't know the place. You've never been there. He said, yes, there's a business he wants to go and do. And he left, came to Nigeria, went to a village where I wouldn't even go. He went there to do this business. He believes in. Just to tell you how it is. And of course, when he was going, he told me how good the business will be. And of course, I was just watching it. And then one day he phoned me and said he had a problem. ABCD is his problem and everything. Some people are trying to do this. I was fascinated about this young man who from nowhere. So I had to call the authorities. I called the authorities. I said, listen, this young man, nothing will happen to him, his equipment, everything. Of course, they gave him back, he got back all his things, continued to do, and one day, when he was going, he mentioned it to me, and he was excited that, oh, maybe if you want, you can invest. And of course, I've lost a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money, but not deliberately. So I saw this one, I was going to lose the... I suddenly came to me and said, oh, this company is now worth $3 million. And I was like, what are you doing? I would have given this boy $10,000. And he was said, I said, what is happening here? I'm being the people who did Zoom years back in I think it was 2014, in one of the schools, and they were talking about this thing. It didn't make any meaning to me until after COVID, and people started using this thing. And the price, I said, what? So I said, what is this boy doing? He said, $3 million. The next thing, I was in the newspaper, it's going to raise $5 million. I said, wait a minute. Maybe I have to follow this boy to this bush and know what he's doing there. But what am I trying to do? Is become a success. And I've had people who do the same thing. In several places, young people who started something when I was in government and said to me, this and everything. And that's why I'm saying there's so much hope and energy for that continent. All you need is to create enabling environment that will allow you to unleash that talent, energy, everything. It's a huge opportunity. So it's something that I won't say to you this or that. Today, all for me, like I keep saying, if I had the opportunity, focus on security, law and order. You need that intangible assets of ensuring security, law and order, create a physical and monetary environment that support SMEs. Leave the rest for the young people to do. Because you have the talent to do what your counterparts all over the world is doing. And Africa will work. It's just to stop people from stealing public wealth. Use it to do the right things. Give it to those who will multiply it. Any country or continent where its politics is more profitable than enterprise, it's finished. You can't. So you must stop that, because what it is that corruption is there. Corruption kills entrepreneurship. Nobody's thinking, it kills professionalism. It kills hard work. So you have a professor in this university probably earns more money than governor of the state, if he knows what he's doing. I saw it in Kellogg and Harvard. Or they earn at least more money than most of your state legislators. In Nigeria, it's not the same thing. You pay a professor 400,000 naira. That is about $30,000. And if he decides to keep his money without eating, every year is about 5 million naira. So he needs about 32 years to earn enough to buy a car you bought for a national legislator. it cannot continue. You must dismantle that criminality and push it to those who are productive. People who are productive. Our country has all the potential to be a great country, but you must move it from its present corruption and consumption to production. And it has the machinery, the talent, the energy, the market, everything. And once you do that, your rate of exchange, everything will change very easily. I've seen it before, and it can work. It's just that it requires a leader that understands the environment, understands what is to be done, and go around to do it effectively.